this might be a newsflash, is that you get to be in control of your feelings and emotions. Your emotions don't have to be in control of you. That's huge.
That's humongous.
Like, mind blow emoji.
She told me that a while ago, and I'm like, that's completely not true.
Because I think we've all had those experiences where our emotions, we felt like we didn't have any choice. I feel angry, so I have to behave this way. I have to punch the wall, or I have to shout or yell really loud, or whatever. Or I'm excited, so I have to jump up and down. I don't know. I don't do that, but but to realize is that no, emotional intelligence means that we feel our feelings and we acknowledge them, but we still get to choose how we're going to act and how we're going to respond.
Welcome to the EQ for Entrepreneurs podcast. Like most business owners, you already know you need good business and marketing strategies to scale and be profitable. But at some point, you've hit the dreaded wall where you feel stuck and frustrated. EQ for Entrepreneurs is for business owners and leaders who are honest enough to admit that they just might be the ones holding their business back and are brave enough to change that.
We're Noble and Kathy, and every week we're having candid conversations about all things emotional intelligence and how growing that has allowed us to get out of our own way and is radically transforming both our businesses and our personal lives. This is the secret sauce strategy for modern entrepreneurs who are tired of hustling without seeing results and want to grow a business and a life that they love.
What's going on, entrepreneurs, leaders, and influencers? Great to have you today for episode
number 9. Today, we are going to be talking about the language of emotional intelligence. If you've been listening to the podcast, we've talked about this, about how you have to develop a vocabulary, the vocabulary of feelings and emotions. Nobody, I don't know, check me on this. What do you think? I feel like you can't really have a high EQ, a high emotional intelligence, if you don't know the language.
In fact, in Emotional Intelligence 2.0, the book, they say that, and we said this quote earlier on, I want to say maybe even episode in the first episode, that 70% of people are unable, and that's 70%, give me a plus or minus a little bit there, 70% of people are unable to accurately identify how they're feeling at any given moment.
So it's really important to have the words. So we're going to dive into that. But first, let me just say a quick thing about our show format. So right now we're launching 2 episodes per week, one on Monday, one on Mondays, one on Thursdays. Here's the difference between those episodes. Our Monday episodes are bigger episodes. It's where it's both of us. We're really taking the time to go into a topic and kind of deep dive. Typically, we're going to have journal notes that you can download for that. So those are going to come out on Monday. On Thursday, it's going to be much shorter. We're calling them shorts, behind the scenes, I don't know, peek behind the curtain, backstage pass. And it's where we're sharing in real time about our emotional journey. Like, okay, hey, this just happened and here's how I'm processing it, or here's what I learned or something. So you're going to really be on the journey with us. This is not us saying, hey, we're experts. Like, we're not clinically trained in anything. We're just entrepreneurs who have learned how important EQ is. And we're sharing our journey with you of what it's looked like for us to implement this in our life. So just so you know, that's the difference between Monday and Thursday. The Thursday ones are typically shorter, and it's usually just one of us, probably most of the time him. I might do some every now and then, but that's the difference between the two. Definitely, you're going to want to go download the notes and journal pages for this episode. This is an important one. We create journal pages because we feel like journaling is really important. If you go to www.eqforentrepreneurs.com/9, that is the number 9, you will find you'll be able to download there the journal pages for this episode. This is so important because one of the things that you're going to get is you are going to get a word list, an emotions and feelings word list, and you're about to find out how important that is. Lastly, if you're getting value from what we're doing, please subscribe, please leave us a review, and please share. We really appreciate that.
Yes. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please
comment,
subscribe to our YouTube channel and click that little bell to follow us as well. Okay. Why is it important to understand the language of emotional intelligence? Many of you know that we homeschool with a program called Classical Conversations, and they use it's a faith-based K through 12 homeschooling program where they use the classical model, and it's all based around communities. They have 2,500 communities around the country. Anyway, a lot of neat things about homeschooling and stuff. Specifically with our particular program that we've been using, they use the classical model or classical approach to learning. And there's this thing, a Latin term called the trivium, which means 3 ways or 3 roads. And it talks about the 3 different kind of the path to learning that everybody goes through. And I love this. It's been so helpful for me in my learning journey I would call myself a professional learner. I'm constantly consuming content, reading books, podcasts, all kinds of stuff, doing interviews, learning from people. And that trivium is, again, 3 roads, and it is broken down into three paths, which is the grammar phase, which is that first phase of learning, then the dialectic phase, which is that second phase of learning, then in the third phase is the rhetorical phase, again, which is that third phase.
Let's just find what that means, right? Because that is some strange verbiage he just threw out, and that really doesn't have much to do with emotions and feelings, but this has to do with how you're going to learn to be emotionally intelligent. And I think once you get a visual for this, you're going to understand why the episode today is so foundational and so important.
Yeah, which is why I'm bringing up this whole thing, is you got to know the grammar. And this is for anything. When I first started jiu-jitsu, I had to learn the grammar. What is an armbar? But, for a non-jiu-jitsu person, that means nothing. Rear naked choke means nothing. Kimura means super nothing, right? Americana means nothing. But so as a brand new jiu-jitsu guy, I had to learn the grammar of jiu-jitsu. When I first showed up to the 82nd Airborne Division as a brand new airborne ranger, all that stuff, guess what? I had to learn the grammar. The Army has its own grammar. The 82nd has its own grammar within the Army. It's a whole nother sub niche, right? So same thing with emotional intelligence. It's really important to begin learning, and you guys have been. Every episode you listen to here, you're getting the language, you're getting the grammar. Now also realize that each of those phases, so the grammar phase is just that, learning the grammar, learning the words, the verbiage, the lexicon of this whole area, industry, arena, if you will. The dialectic phase is a fancy term. It's like it's understanding. It's you're beginning to understand. You're beginning to make connections between the words and the concepts. Now you're able to start asking questions. Well, how does this work? And how does this tie in with this? And how, what's the relationship between this and this? There's a whole other tool called the 5 common topics that you could use for the dialectic phase. We're not going to go into that. The third phase is the rhetorical phase. That's when you can begin to explain and inform and teach and train other people about a particular area. So anyway, now and why that's even important, you may think, well, dude, that's got nothing to do with this. It's got a lot to do with this. So what I'm saying is, and with each of those phases, those 3 phases, the grammar phase, dialectic phase, and rhetorical phase, there are sub phases within each of those. So understand that you may be in the grammar phase of emotion. Honestly, I feel like I'm still, part of me is still in the grammar phase. I feel like I'm also a little bit in for sure, definitely the dialectic phase, because we're constantly talking, having conversations, discussions, asking each other questions about this stuff. I guess in a little way, we're in the rhetorical phase because we're sharing our journey now with you all, but by no means, again, are we, certified or whatever. We are, again, like Kathy always shares, we are just sharing our growth journey, our EQ journey with you all in hopes that you all can learn from some of the lessons that we are learning as well. So with that, understand that this journey is a process.
Yes.
Please don't get frustrated with yourself. I want to know everything today. That's not how the learning process works for anything. It's a process. So just give yourself grace, patience, and space to go through this journey. And remember, this is another huge lesson in this emotional growth journey, is that if you feel like, and you will, that you're taking 3 steps forward in this emotional journey, 2 steps back, you're doing it right.
Yep.
So be okay with that. Just understand if and when that happens, that's part of the process. That is a sign
You're
that
doing
you
it
are
right.
doing it right, that you're going in the right direction. So just be patient with yourself. Enjoy the journey, which is one of the episodes I did also recently. Enjoy and embrace the valleys and the plateaus. Rather than looking at a valley and a plateau as a negative, how can you look at it as a positive? How can you learn from that valley or from that particular plateau? So this is one of the early stages of anything, again, is learning the grammar of anything that you're trying to learn.
Yeah, such a good point. Thank you, babe, for saying that. So, okay, so first of all, what is the language? Just a couple of things that we want to tell you that we, I know that there's probably a scientific or psychological differentiation between feelings and emotions, and maybe we'll dive into that at some point. But just know, for the most part, we use those words interchangeably. So, feelings and emotion. So those are two words, but I want to give you a few new words that you're going to have to learn. And then we're going to get into how to learn this language. Okay. So here's a new word: emotional intelligence, right? That's a new word. If you haven't listened to episode number 1, go back and listen to episode 1. We define emotional intelligence and how we use it. And just know that emotional intelligence and emotional quotient, that's what EQ stands for. We use them the exact same way. They're pretty much interchangeable. They kind of mean the same thing.
Emotional health and emotional fitness are a couple other ones.
We use those the same way interchangeably.
Same
also.
kind of thing, which we also broke down, that, and also self-awareness in episode 7. So if you haven't checked out episode 7 yet, we kind of do a deep dive into emotional health and fitness and self-awareness.
Yeah. How about, we talked about feelings, emotions. How about processing? So processing feelings and emotions, that's another thing that we talk about a lot. And in future episodes, we'll get into how to do it and what that can look like. But add that to your list as you do feelings and emotions of processing. And for us, processing just means, okay, let's figure out what's going on. Let's just figure, I'm feeling some kind of thing. It's kind of the process that we go to analyze, what are we feeling? Why are we feeling it? Is this helping me? Is this not? Do I need to think about this differently? How do I need to manage it? All of that kind of goes into processing.
A couple other words that I would throw in there in the list as well is awareness and identification, or IDing, identify. So just being able to be aware of how are you feeling, aware of what you are feeling. So awareness is another, great word to keep on file. And then being able to identify. So not just aware, okay, I'm feeling something, which before, early on, well, not even early on, but a handful of years ago, I wasn't even aware of what I was feeling. Then I got to a place where, and I'm still working on this, by the way, is like, okay, I'm feeling something, don't know what yet, no idea. I'm feeling something. Okay, but then the next phase is being able to, okay, I'm feeling something, so I'm aware, I'm feeling something. Now, what am I being able to identify, name specifically? Okay, is it my shoulder that's hurting, or is it my knee? Major, minor detail, right? Or minor, major detail.
Yes.
Right, is being able to identify. That's the same thing. It's funny, right? Okay, well, elbow or your knee, well, that's easy. Same thing with your emotions. If you literally, I'm gonna tell you a quick story. A few years ago, sitting down and I'm talking to Kathy, and out of nowhere, this is a true story. # True story. I start tears, waterworks coming down out of nowhere.
That doesn't happen. Well, it kind of happens a lot, but not.
Oh, what? What? Come on, don't be spilling the beans here.
They'll find out soon.
So out of nowhere, I start doing waterworks, and we're in the middle of just a normal everyday conversation. So nothing deep, nothing,
painful,
super pain, nothing. I mean, just regular, normal conversation about the day or whatever. And so boom, tears. And I'm like, man, what is going on? Like, what? And she's like, dude, what's up? And I'm like, I have no idea. And she's like, no, seriously. Like, you upset, you angry, what's up? And I said, babe, honestly, I genuinely have no idea right now. And so she said, okay, let's start at 10,000 feet. That's what I kind of like to say. That's like the helicopter view, right? Let's go up to a bird's eye view, helicopter view, look down. Okay, she said, so let's do a level 101 question, not even a 201 question or 301. Let's do a little level, 101 question, grammar question, right? Grammar phase question. Are you happy or are you sad? Literally, that's what she asked. And you know what I answered? I have no idea. I literally was not even aware enough to be able to say whether or not I was happy or I was sad in that moment.
Just know that's okay. Like, it's okay. We all have to start somewhere. Everybody has to start somewhere. Because a lot of this really kind of goes back to, as you were growing up, were you exposed to emotional vocabulary? Was that developed? Was that something that was recognized as important in your home? And here's the thing, it doesn't matter whether it was or whether it wasn't. There's no blame or anything like that. But what it is, it's now you're responsible. You're an adult now, right? You're an adult. And so it's time to learn this and to learn these things. And so what we found is that most people are again, 70% of people are very surface level with their feelings and emotions. And it really kind of breaks down into just a few categories. Maybe they can say, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, or I'm afraid. Maybe they could do surprised, and then there's the catch-all, bad, right? So they kind of have these very general categories, but it doesn't go a whole lot deeper than that. And really, in reality, for each one of those categories, there is a whole list of other emotions and feelings that come under happy. There's a whole list that come under sad.
And one of the point before she kind of breaks those down, also in Emotional Intelligence 2.0, one of the things that they share or explain in there is that the higher your emotional intelligence, the more detailed and the more accurate you're able to explain and describe how you feel. Yeah. So again, when I first started as an emotional infant, I was able to say, like, again, and I even just a handful of years ago was not even able to say in that one particular moment, I don't even know if I'm happy or sad. So again, that's a reflection of where my EQ was. As I've been on this journey, as we've been in this journey for a few very intentional years, now I'm able to more accurately describe and define how I feel. Yeah. And another way is I know more emotional words. My emotional intelligence grammar is getting bigger as we have been, immersed into this journey for the number of years that we've been in so far.
Yeah, so let me give you some examples. So for instance, for happy, you might be able to say, I think I feel happy, but can you differentiate happy from exuberant or playful or content or thankful, right? Those are just a few. There's a whole list of them, and we've compiled that for you guys. So again, eqforentrepreneurs.com/9, the number 9, and you can get this list. Get a list. I recommend printing this off. If you're working on this, put this on your refrigerator. Like, put this up. Let this be something that you're seeing on a regular basis. How about for sad? So you might be feeling sad about something, but are you sad or are you disappointed? Are you feeling lonely? Are you feeling vulnerable? Are you feeling empty?
Or hurt?
Are you feeling hurt, right? There's a lot of different things. For angry, okay, well, angry, that could be one thing, but frustrated is a different thing. Bitter, annoyed, violated, all of those are very distinct feelings. How about for afraid?
Before you jump into afraid, one of the other interesting things about angry, specifically that emotion, that is a secondary emotion. Anger is always a secondary emotion. There's always
something else,
some other emotion that leads up to feeling angry.
And if you know that and you find yourself feeling angry, it helps to stop and think, well, why am I angry? And you don't just say, well, because they did this. No, you say, what feeling or emotion did I feel first that made me angry? Did you feel frustrated first and then that made you angry? Did you feel disrespected first and that made you angry? Right? So to really kind of dig down into that. Let's go into afraid. So for afraid, are you feeling helpless? Are you feeling worried, inferior, or exposed? How about the category of surprise? Surprised, are you amazed? Are you startled, astonished, or perplexed? And then we've got the big catch-all of bad. I just feel bad. Well, dive into that. What does that mean? Are you bored? Are you stressed? Are you pressured? Are you overwhelmed? Right? Again, the more clear and the more descriptive the vocabulary that you can develop around your feelings and emotions, the more you can do with it and the better you'll be able to really figure out what is going on with me and why. And then you get to be in control. This might be a newsflash, is that you get to be in control of your feelings and emotions. Your emotions don't have to be in control of you. That's huge.
That's humongous.
Like, mind blow emoji.
She told me that a while ago, and I'm like, that's completely not true.
Because I think we've all had those experiences where our emotions, we felt like we didn't have any choice. I feel angry, so I have to behave this way. I have to punch the wall, or I have to shout or yell really loud, or whatever. Or I'm excited, so I have to jump up and down. I don't know. I don't do that, but but to realize is that no, emotional intelligence means that we feel our feelings and we acknowledge them, but we still get to choose how we're going to act and how we're going to respond.
This is a little bonus clip here in this episode. For all of you parents out there, this stuff is absolutely game changer when you bring your children into this mix as well.
Yes.
One of the ways that my awesome wife has helped develop our emotional intelligence in our 12-year-old is when she was literally 3 years old and 4 years old, when our daughter would have a meltdown or she would bump her knee or whatever, Kathy would go and say, I say, Mijita, but hey, Elena, you just bumped your knee, yes, mommy, she's crying, whatever. Man, so you feel pain right now.
You're feeling hurt.
You're feeling hurt. You're feeling pain, and you're probably frustrated that you hit your knee, right? So my point is, Kathy would tell Elena how Elena was feeling. She would help name that emotion because Elena didn't have a file for that emotion. She had, she had no idea what angry or frustrated or disappointed or upset or rejected was. So when she was literally 3 and 4 years old, Kathy would tell her what that emotion was that Elena was feeling. So then as she's gotten older, now we ask Elena, how are you feeling? Boom, she's already has that grammar that's already been trained and stored up in her from the years that Kathy has been doing that. So it's much easier to work through conversations and discussions. And that's been game changer. So the other thing I would encourage you is don't hide this journey from your children as well.
Yes.
Let them participate. Let them be involved, be a part of your growth journey. The other thing too, all the entrepreneurs on here is I encourage you all to, again, it depends on your level of vulnerability, transparency and stuff. But I would even encourage you to let your employees in on some of your journey. Let some of your staff, some of your colleagues, your coworkers, your partners in on some of your growth journey, whatever your comfort level is. Obviously not anything that you need to feel anxiety or stress over by any stretch, but because this is important. And if they can see you being comfortable going through this journey enough to let them in on your journey as well, man, that could change literally the culture of your entire organization.
Yes, we say hurting people hurt people and are easily hurt by other people. Well, the converse of that is true as well. Healed people help heal other people. And so you, on your emotional journey of getting healing, as you share that, it is going to give freedom and offer healing and hope to other people as well. So again, at whatever level you're comfortable with that. So, all right, we want to give you guys 3 things. Here's 3 ways that you can start using this word list, right? Again, go print it off, get the journal sheets. And these 3 things are in the journal sheets as well. So we want you working through this. Don't just listen to us and say, well, that was cool and entertaining. No, we want you getting change. Our goal for you is that as you listen to this podcast and you go through episodes, you are growing and you are changing and your EQ, your emotional intelligence is growing and you're seeing differences in your life. But it's not going to happen without some intentional work on your part.
And please share your growth journey with us on our YouTube channel, which is EQ for Entrepreneurs, or our Facebook group, EQ for Entrepreneurs, Instagram, our Facebook page. Please share your growth journey so that others, again, healed people or healing people help heal other people. So when other people can get the benefit of your growth, maybe you're going to have a different experience than us, but your growth is going to help somebody else out. So we'd love to hear a comment in the threads below. We'd love to hear your journey as well.
So there's 3 things, 3 little, I don't know, tools,
Exercises,
exercises, yeah, that you can do. Number one, as you watch TV, and this is a great one to do if you have kids, but also just yourself or you with your partner, your spouse. As you watch TV or you're watching movies, observe the people on the screen, right? So watch the people and maybe stop it periodically, pause it, or just ask yourself, what are they feeling right now? Right? So practice with other people, because sometimes it's hard with yourself, but practice with other people. Maybe you've got your little word list, right? And you can say, well, they're happy, but are they really just happy? And go through the list and see if you can pick, oh no, they're exuberant, right? Or maybe you can pick a different word. So just start practicing. What does this look like? What does this feel like? What is this character feeling right now? And use the word list to help you narrow it down. Get out of the broad categories and try to get specific.
Another great exercise, and we talked a little bit about these exercises last episode as well. Episode 7 is pay attention where at in your body you're feeling a particular emotion.
Yes.
When you're happy, you're sad, or again, I'm using the surface level emotion. So when you're feeling exuberant or disappointed or frustrated or again, whatever those emotions are, where are you feeling that in your body? Pay attention to what part of your body, because again, this has physiological impact on our bodies.
Yes. Number 3, we call this the emotion game. That's a totally lame title for it, but it really sums up what it is. It's original, real original here. The emotion game. So here's what the emotion is. So you pick a word from the feelings list. You pick one at random. You can close your eyes, point a finger, whatever. Just pick one at random and ask yourself 2 questions. Question number 1 is, let's say that the emotion that we picked was exuberant. Okay, let's just say that. So the question number 1 is, I feel exuberant when, and then you fill in the blank. So I feel exuberant when, and you have to try to think, what are circumstances in your life, or what is a time, or what is something that happens that makes you feel exuberant, right? And I'm trying to think, well, how would you answer that? We're going to really get awkward and do this exercise in front of you. Okay. This could go really badly.
And so in present and then in the past.
So you do it in the present, and then question 2 is in past, but we're not there yet.
So she's putting me on the spot.
I'm putting myself on the spot,
which is great. So when I felt exuberant, one of the last times I felt exuberant, and one of the most recent times I felt exuberant, is when I submitted a guy in jiu-jitsu using one of the moves that I've learned.
Good. Okay. For me, I feel exuberant when we're at the top of the mountain. We go skiing as a family. We're standing at the top of the mountain, getting ready to go down, and we're looking around, and it's like we're in a snow globe and there's mountains all around us. That makes me feel exuberant. Okay?
And that's breathtaking. And the other, one of the rules of this game is you can't use the other person as the example, right? So
can't say you make me feel exuberant when,
or you make me feel upset when, or you make me feel angry or rejected when, right? Because now you start a fight, and that's not the point, right?
Not the point. So then the question number 2, then you take that word and you say, the first time I remember feeling exuberant was, and you try to go back in your memory. You try to go back to your childhood, or hopefully a time before you were 18 years old. And I would say for me, so the way I'd answer that is, the first time I remember feeling exuberant was Christmas morning as a child, right? Waking up, seeing the presents and seeing the gifts. How about you?
The first time I felt exuberant was riding a big giant tractor. I thought it was a big giant tractor when I was 5 years old. And also riding a go-kart with my dad, a little double-seater go-kart, zipping around our neighborhood in Oklahoma. And that was probably the first time I felt exuberant.
So notice at the end, we don't argue with each other. You say, well, that can't be the first time. Surely you could go like, no, it is what it is. And you say, oh, thanks for sharing that with me. That's really neat.
No judging each other's experiences or feelings or whatever. Now, let me ask you this, babe. Why is that important? Why do you do the whole present? This is what I'm feeling exuberant, and why, as a kid, why do you do that?
Because it's giving you. I don't know what the word is. It's giving you a peg, so to speak. It's kind of like putting a stake in the ground and saying, I know what this is. I have felt this before. This is familiar. Maybe the word isn't familiar, but the feeling is familiar to me. And you're now starting to put words and names to feelings that you have felt, because you've probably felt all these emotions. You just didn't know the names of them. Is that what
Yep,
you're saying?
no, that's great.
Else?
Yep, and it's building that emotional file.
It's practice. It's just practice.
You're building and deepening that emotional file.
Yeah.
And again, I would encourage you all to include your kids
Yes.
in this exercise. We got this exercise from a guy named Doug Weiss in his book, Emotional Fitness.
Yes.
Excellent book, excellent resources.
Yeah, excellent. So anyways, those are 3 exercises. So again, please go eqforentrepreneurs.com/9. You can download both of these. And as well, if you have any questions, topics that you would like to see us address on a future episode, eqforentrepreneurs/ask away. And you can submit them, you can ask away. We'd love to have you again. Share, review, subscribe, follow us on any of these. And yeah, let us know how you guys do with these exercises. We can't wait to hear how they go for you.
And your journey. Please keep us up to speed on your growth journey. Give yourself grace and patience and space. And we are so thankful and blessed to be a part of your emotional growth, health, and fitness journey.